For years, we have been learning and learning new things about math, science, ourselves, history, and much more. But what is learning? What is the cognitive and metacognitive factors in learning? And what are the differences? Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Today, we are going to be talking about the cognitive and metacognitive factors in learning. So first, what is cognitive factor in learning? This refers to the way we think, know, remember, judge, and solve things. It is the process of learning and the process of gathering information through observation and practice, or simply the ability to learn, understand, and memorize information. For example, an adult is treating the clown model in a violent way, hitting the clown model with a hammer and throwing it around, as this is an experiment for involving the man and the child. Now watch the child do the same thing the man did. As you can see here, the child who saw the act and think it is okay to act that way and do the same, since they saw an adult do that kind of act to an object, which is the clown. Similarly to the monkey see monkey do, sayings that what's different is that the child will do much more or less than what they saw, like using a weapon to the same object like a gun, a knife, and this is what robbery has turned up to. So that is the effect of visual learning. In comparison, this is what we have observed in the two visuals. The man is hitting the clown model with a hammer and throwing it around, while the child hits the clown model but finds a gun and uses it to threaten the clown model. This is called vicarious reinforcement. It is the ability of having a man observe an individual, what it does, and as a result, another man or someone else will imitate what he has seen in a perfect procedure, although the information passed through is not perfect. To prove it, are you familiar with the word pass the message? It is the kind of game where we are bursting with laughter trying to get the first message into the last message with a perfect or similar kind of message. In the past, I have experienced shooting games like Crossfire, Dota, COC, and the like, but have you ever asked yourself, what did these games change my behavior and my way of thinking? From the games I mentioned before are generally violent games, with, of course, inductive reasoning. I am violent because of the games I play.
What is metacognitive factor in learning? From the word meta, we are thinking beyond our thinking. It is a process of thinking about thinking. This can be explained through the questions: what do I know? What do you know? What do I do not know that you do? What do you don't know that I do? And the like. With the help of metacognitive learning or process, we can moderate our cognitive learning skills. For example, there is an incoming examination for the BS Ed Math students. They are required to learn, understand, and apply the given learning materials in order for them to pass the test. Let's say you are good at math, but you are terrible at dealing with sociology. You have two ways to learn. One is to learn by equal time schedule, trying out tests until the designated exam, but still worry about the result to be better or worse. And then the other one is that you are going to consider yourself first. Focusing on the subjects you are terrible with and give at least or any amount of time for the subjects you excel with. You need to pick one in 10 seconds. And then the result is You get a passing grade for studying so hard and making an effort. Now, we will proceed to the principles of cognitive and metacognitive learning factors. So first, we have nature of learning process. Learning complicated subject matter is most effective when it is a deliberate process of creating meaning from data and experiences. For example, when a student is given a hard task, it is more likely to have a lot of mistakes, and through that mistakes, he gains knowledge and experiences. And then the next time he is given a hard task, the outcome will be very satisfying because all tasks are hard before it becomes easy. Successful students are engaged, goal-oriented, self-regulatory, and take personal responsibility for their own learning. Meaning to say is that when activities are given to the students, they are expected to participate in the activity, may it be hard, fun, easy, and so on. Each student will learn by their own pace, or they can also learn by a somewhat same speed.
Goals of learning process over time with assistance and instructional supervision, a successful learning can construct meaningful, coherent representation of knowledge. As the teachers help the student learn new things, they gain the ability to memorize, understand, apply, construct, and be creative that in excellent and understandable relating to the topic given by them. Due to the strategic nature of learning, students must be goal-oriented. From the way the teacher teaches the students, assuming in a good way of teaching, the students are expected to give at least good output of understanding towards the activities. Students must design and pursue personally relevant goals in order to construct useful representations of knowledge and to acquire the thinking and learning skills required for continuing learning success throughout their lives. The students need to have reason, a resolve, or motivation in order to keep learning throughout their lives, like for their family, loved ones, or friends, and themselves. Educators can help students set relevant learning goals that are aligned with their personal and educational goals. Not only the teachers can help students learn and understand things, but also students can teach their classmates lessons that they are confused with. One way of learning is also by teaching, and that is how students can learn and understand more of what they are learning. Construction of knowledge, a successful learning may make meaningful connections between new materials and previous knowledge. The successful students have the ability to connect their new ideas or comparisons using new theory or new ideas linking to the specific topic in which they can represent to target people who are interested the main topic symbolizing as new content. As students continue to make connections between new information and experience and their existing knowledge base, their knowledge expands and depends. With a lesson given to the student, they gain knowledge and information most memorable to them that is useful in their daily lives and in educational purposes. But not all information is kept in memories curiously. Sometimes we forget knowledge like what we ate, the past month, mathematical equation, but somehow we remember them when they need them by looking at the familiar illustration, phrases, and others. The nature of this connection might range from adding to changing or constructing existing information or skills. The students have the freedom to do whatever they want with their knowledge. They can use it to connect the topic to another topic, use it to outskill someone, and much more. Educators can help students acquire and integrate information. Whenever a student is having a problem trying to understand a topic on their own, a student who understands the topic can help him in order to understand the topic he is trying to learn. Strategic thinking to attain complicated learning goals. A successful learning can develop and employ a repertoire or thinking of reasoning skills, meaning to say, the learning can have strategic thinking to deal with complex information. For example, playing chess is a strategic game. It needs plans to win. Successful learning approaches learning reasoning, problem solving, and idea learning with strategic thinking. Knowledge is not always learning literally. It needs further understanding on how it works. The learning needs to know what the topic is all about, how it goes, and why it is necessary to learn. They also continue to broaden their strategy, repertoire, and reflect on their ways. Therefore, the more they use strategic thinking, the more it will improve. Thinking about creative and critical thinking are aided by higher order techniques and selecting and monitoring mental operation. This is slide number 16. Successful learnings are able to reflect on how they think and learn, set realistic learning and performance goals, choose possibly acceptable learning tactics or methods, and track their process toward the objectives. After learning, you are able to reflect on how you learn, apply, memorize the information. Basically, the process of thinking of how you think. After that, you can decide on what do you want the way of learning to become that leads to better understand new information. Use instructional strategies that aids in development of metacognitive skills. In students, students can use guides that help them in learning. Context of learning and influenced by environmental factors such as culture, technology, instructional practices. These factors are very crucial to learning. One can have culture that supports learning but have poor technology and average instructional practices.